What if Plo Koon stopped Anakin from killing Count Dooku? Make sure to check out the voice actors, Nick Cortez and the Shapeshifter. Their links will be in the description. Let's start this story during the beginning of Revenge of the Sith. Plo Koon was tasked with a mission on the planet of Cato Nemoidia, homeworld of the Nemoidians, who were allies of the Separatists. He attempted to take control of the planet and its key facilities, aiming to disrupt the Separatist operations there. In the original timeline, Plo Koon didn't complete this mission and died in Order 66 before he could. But in this story, we're gonna have Plo Koon complete this mission on Cato Nemoidia early and successfully take control of the planet. Plo Koon reports his victory to the Jedi Council, who congratulate Plo on this, but report that he's not able to have any downtime, that he's been assigned to join Obi-Wan and Anakin in an attempt to save the Chancellor, who's been captured. Plo enters hyperspace to join up with the other Jedi, but is slightly late and this battle has already begun. He can see General Grievous's command ship in the distance, and can sense Anakin and Obi-Wan there, and head towards it at full speed. He arrives and rushes up the elevator to the floor where the Chancellor is being kept. He bursts open the door to see Anakin cut off Dooku's hands and hold his lightsaber at his throat. Plo walks down slowly as Anakin has assured the Count's defeat, and now they can arrest and take him in for questioning. He will be a vital aspect to the future of the war effort, but before he can approach any further, he hears the Chancellor order Anakin to kill Dooku, and to do it right now. Plo was confused by this. Why would the Chancellor possibly want Dooku dead? He could be the key to ending the war. He rests reassured, knowing Anakin wouldn't do it, that he must know it's not the Jedi way. But he looks up at Anakin, and can see the conflict on his face. The boy is actually considering it. Plo speaks to Anakin.
As a member of the Jedi Council, I command you to put away your lightsaber and help me take Dooku alive for questioning.
But Palpatine rebuts.
No, your Chancellor orders you to kill him, Anakin. Do it.
But Anakin falters. Deep down he knows he shouldn't kill an unarmed man, and he makes eye contact with Plo.
Yes, Master.
And he deignites his lightsaber, and Dooku lives. Together they wake up Kenobi, carry Palpatine and Dooku out of there, and the rest of the events are carried out as planned. They fight Grievous, but he escapes, and they crash land what's left of his ship on Coruscant. The three Jedi are celebrated for their victory in rescuing the Chancellor and capturing Count Dooku. The Council congratulates them on their victory, and now they can use Dooku to figure out the vital link of the Clone War, Darth Sidious. But Darth Sidious was angry. He wanted Anakin to kill Dooku in anger, beginning his fall to the dark side, but Plo Koon ruined it. But no matter, he has other ways of turning Anakin, starting with the twin children he just learned about from Padme. At the next council meeting, the council go to assign Plo Koon to Mandalore to group up with and assist Ahsoka in her efforts, but Plo Koon denies this.
Something is wrong in the Force, Master. I can sense it, and I feel I must remain on Coruscant to determine what this is.
Plo Koon found Palpatine's actions on Grievous's ship the Invisible Hand extremely suspicious, and now he cannot help but feel the looming shadow of the dark side over them. Is it Dooku's recent capture? He's not sure what it is, but he's sure of one thing: something isn't right, and he's going to figure out what it is. Shortly after Anakin returned, he found out Padme was pregnant, which brought him joy he didn't know was possible. But shortly after, he began having nightmares that she would die in childbirth, causing Anakin to become riddled with fear. Palpatine started attempting to turn Anakin against the Jedi, and offered for him to become his representative on the Jedi Council, knowing they wouldn't grant him the rank of Master, the rank Anakin always wanted and thought he deserved, but also wanted this because only Masters could enter the restricted section of the Jedi archives, and then he could search for the secret to save Padme. But the Council had denied him this, growing Anakin's anger towards them. He is given his special assignment to spy on the Chancellor's dealings and report everything back to the Council, which further increases Anakin's anger with them, since they're asking him to spy on a close friend and mentor. Plo Koon analyzes back to the fight with Dooku. He felt Anakin's anger during the battle, feeling him motivated by revenge for the loss of his hand, but also the fact that Palpatine wanted Anakin to kill Dooku didn't seem right. Any sane leader would want to capture the leader of the opposition, where he could use them to their advantage and potentially win the war. Something was not right, and Plo Koon decided to talk with Anakin directly. He goes to his quarters in the Jedi Temple and talks with Anakin about his secret mission with the Chancellor, and can tell Anakin isn't in his right headspace. He's filled with fear and anger, more so than he was on Grievous's ship. He thinks it's unlikely that it's due to his assignment, and thinks something more is happening. He knows he's close to the truth, the missing pieces that will put the puzzle together. Plo Koon is one of the stronger Jedi in the Order, and like many others on the Council, have sensed that the war is coming to an end very soon, but also that the dark side is the strongest it's been in 1,000 years. Plo decides to assign himself his own mission, to keep an eye on the Chosen One, as he believes this is of utmost importance, and that Anakin must be related to the rising darkness. The next day, Anakin attends the opera with Palpatine, where he learns about Darth Plagueis the Wise, the Sith Lord that can keep the ones he cares about from dying. Exactly the power that Anakin was searching for, and now he begins to genuinely consider joining the dark side. He also learns of Grievous's location, and Palpatine tells him to inform the Jedi Council that he believes Anakin should go. Anakin reports the location of Grievous to the Council the next day, and informs them of Palpatine's wishes that he wants Anakin to go, but he is denied instantly by Windu, and they begin looking for who else should go. Obi-Wan is nominated, and it seems he might be the one to go, but Plo in his mind doesn't think this is a good idea. Something is going on with Anakin, more than he knows, and the young Skywalker needs his master at present on Coruscant. Plo proclaims to the Council,
Kenobi should remain on Coruscant to assist Skywalker with his recent promotion. I hereby nominate Kit Fisto to take his place in the Utapau mission. I believe he can bring Grievous to justice.
He makes eye contact with Yoda, and the Grand Master senses where Plo is coming from.
Agree with this, I do. Fisto will go.
They then discuss Dooku, whether he said anything that could be of use, but they sadly state that the former Jedi has not revealed anything, and continues to say that his master will save him. Plo thinks on recent events. Palpatine has done two questionable things, putting Anakin on the Council knowing he wouldn't become a master, but also requesting that he goes to fight Grievous, something the Council would choose on their own. There are always reasons behind his actions, especially for someone as politically cunning as Palpatine, and all this has done is anger Anakin towards the Jedi, which is definitely intentional. But what could be the reasons for this? Plo continues with his mission, and decides to follow Anakin out of the temple that day. Anakin was one of the few Jedi who decided to live outside of the Jedi Temple, atop one of the sky rises. Plo conceals his presence through the Force, and watches Anakin wander about his home, spending most of his time on the couch after a long day. But what captures Plo's attention is the presence of a visitor.
Who could that be?
Senator Padme Amidala of Naboo, and watches as Anakin hugs and kisses her. But what surprises Plo the most is that Padme was pregnant, and he begins putting the pieces together in his mind.
Anakin must be the father. This is deeply troubling.
Plo leaves immediately, so he isn't caught, and contacts Ahsoka, who just captured Maul, to return to Coruscant immediately, as he's going to need her help. Anakin cares about Ahsoka deeply, and he knows Ahsoka is a voice of reason to Anakin, and is going to need her to get to the bottom of things. Plo and Ahsoka visit Anakin at his quarters in the Jedi Temple. Anakin's ecstatic to see his apprentice, and congratulates her on her victory on Mandalore. But Plo speaks up.
Anakin, how goes the mission?
Nothing to report, Master.
Is there something else, Skywalker?
But Anakin remains stubborn, and reassures him that there's nothing. Plo turns the tide of the conversation.
Anakin, I can sense turmoil within you. Care to share what is on your mind?
I'm just stressed, Master. Everything has been changing so fast.
Perhaps, but I think we both know it is more than that. You are not telling me everything. Could it perhaps involve someone else?
Anakin doesn't know what he's getting at, because he believes there's no way he could know about Padme, but Ahsoka begins to put the pieces together.
Anakin, I know about your relationship with Senator Amidala.
Anakin's eyes go wide in shock, but Plo continues on.
I also know that she is pregnant with your child.
Even Ahsoka was shocked by the news of this revelation. Anakin's anger begins to rise.
How dare you spy on me, Master? You had no right!
His temper begins to rise, and Plo holds his hands up in a gesture of peace.
I understand your anger, but please listen to what I have to say. My intent was never to intrude, but to understand what is troubling you. I sensed something deeply unsettling, and felt it was an obligation to address it.
Ahsoka stood silently, feeling the tension of the room. Plo continues, telling Anakin that the Force has shown him he's in turmoil, and now knows it has something to do with his child, and implores him to tell him the truth, that he wants to help, but for that, he needs to understand what's going on. Anakin clenches his fists, trying to suppress his emotions. He doesn't know what to say.
Master, my fears of Padme's safety are consuming me. Ever since I learned about her birth, I've had nightmares of her dying in pregnancy. Have a way to prevent this?
But Plo's expression softened with compassion, now empathizing with Anakin, understanding why he's been in so much pain.
I'm sorry, my friend. No such knowledge exists in the Jedi archives, and I cannot offer you the answers you seek.
Anakin's eyes were filled with a mix of desperation and hopelessness. Plo stepped close, placing a reassuring hand on Anakin's shoulder.
Now, Anakin, please tell me about your last report to the Council regarding Grievous's whereabouts. I sensed there is more to that story, and yet you were withholding information from the Council.
Anakin looked up to Plo and told him his original plan to save Padme was to use the Jedi Archive's restricted section, and his second was a power in which he learned from Palpatine himself, and tells Plo the story Palpatine told him about Darth Plagueis the Wise, the Sith Lord who could save those he cared about from dying. Plo was shocked by this story. This wasn't one he had ever heard in his over 100 years of being a Jedi, and doubts anyone else has. This must mean Darth Plagueis is a Sith Lord that was alive after the existence of Bane.
Have you told Palpatine about your nightmares?
No, not yet.
Which leaves Plo more confused. Palpatine is becoming even more suspicious by the day. Plo asks Anakin if he can discuss Plagueis with the Council meeting that day, that he might be the answer to all of his questions. Anakin will take anything at this point and agrees, but Plo leaves him with some words of wisdom, telling him the future is not set in stone, that there are things beyond their knowledge and control, and when the time comes, regardless of what the Council thinks, he will stand by his side and help Padme when the time comes. This meant a lot to Anakin, knowing he had a powerful master by his side. Together they go to the Council meeting, where Plo tells everyone he has a troubling matter to bring to their attention.
During a recent conversation with Anakin, Chancellor Palpatine spoke with him about a Darth Plagueis, a Sith Lord whose existence is unknown to us, and led Anakin to believe that this Sith Lord had the power to prevent death.
Yoda's ears peaked up.
Heard of this Plagueis I have not. Disturbing it is. Palpatine knows of a Sith we do not.
Anakin stays silent, but his face shows disagreement. Plo notices this and speaks to him.
For a while now, the dark side has surrounded the Chancellor, and we on the Council suspect he has a connection to the Sith. How else could he know of a tale involving a Sith Lord we have no knowledge of?
Yadi-Mundi speaks up.
The Chancellor has been unusually involved in the Jedi's affairs lately. His influence on Anakin, his apparent knowledge of the Sith. Could it all be connected?
It's entirely possible. Palpatine's actions have been erratic, and his push for Anakin to kill Count Dooku seemed contrary to what one might expect from a leader of his status. It aligns with the manipulative nature of the dark side.
Time we start considering Palpatine to be the Sith Lord, we must.
Anakin's eyes go wide, as he couldn't believe this could be a possibility. Plo proposes a plan.
We'll plant a recording device on Anakin and use the proof of Palpatine's admission to execute Order 65 in the Senate.
They get everything ready to do this desperate attempt to expose Palpatine and start putting the pieces in motion, and they send Anakin to tell Palpatine that Kit Fisto has engaged General Grievous in combat. Palpatine greeted with his usual warmness.
Anakin, I trust you bring good news.
Anakin nodded, trying to keep his expression neutral.
Chancellor, Master Fisto has engaged General Grievous in combat. The battle is underway.
Palpatine's eyes lit up with interest, but his smile remained.
Excellent news. We may finally be able to end this war. Tell me, Anakin, how is the situation on Coruscant?
Anakin hesitated for a moment before speaking.
There's something I need to discuss with you. Well, it's personal.
Palpatine's expression softened, a hint of curiosity in his eyes.
Personal? You have my full attention.
Anakin took a deep breath, grappling with the emotions rolling within him. He wanted to believe Palpatine was really his friend and the mentor he's been all these years. But what the Jedi Council say, that he could be this Darth Sidious, has grown the fear inside of him. But he's determined to find the truth.
I've been troubled by a recurring nightmare. It involves someone I care about. Someone I love. I feel helpless to prevent it.
Palpatine leaned forward, his tone laced with a subtle but insidious warmth.
Tell me more, Anakin. Perhaps I can offer you some guidance.
Anakin's heart raced, but he pressed on.
I can't tell you who, but someone close to me is in danger, and I've been searching for ways to save them from death. Can you tell me more of the Darth Plagueis you mentioned?
Palpatine's eyes narrowed slightly to reveal a flicker of something darker.
Darth Plagueis, the Sith Lord who could save those from death. But his knowledge died with him, or so it was believed.
Anakin's breath caught. The moment was upon him.
Then you know something.
Palpatine stood up, his demeanor shifting.
Anakin, there are truths that are not readily shared, but if you seek knowledge and power, there are paths to it. Paths that few dare to tread.
What do you mean?
Palpatine's eyes bored into Anakin's soul as he attempted to turn the boy.
You see, Anakin, I am the Sith Lord you have been seeking. My name is Darth Sidious, apprentice of Darth Plagueis, whose secrets died with me.
Anakin's eyes widened in shock. It was all true. He really was the Sith. He took a step back, struggling to process the revelation.
No, it can't be. You've been guiding me, helping me.
But Anakin had all the proof he needed, as the Jedi Council, on the other side of the audio recording, can't believe the truth they are hearing. Anakin needs to get out of there, but Palpatine attempts to hook him in.
I want you to join me, son. Join me, and together we can save your wife from certain death.
I don't know what to do.
Search your feelings, Anakin, and you will find the truth.
I can't decide right now. Give me time.
Of course, Anakin, but I think you know what you must do.
Anakin leaves and goes directly to the Jedi Council chambers, where they are all sitting in silence.
Realize our worst fears we have. Act on this we must. Palpatine's office is where we must go. Arrest him we must.
The Council will call every member back as they gear up for their attack. They send their proof to Bail Organa, who gears up the delegation of 2,000 to present everything to the Senate, to overthrow Palpatine's rule and justify the Jedi in arresting the Chancellor. Nightfall arises, and the time has come. The Jedi Council moved with silent determination towards Palpatine's residence. They moved with pace as Palpatine sensed it too late, and there was no escape for him. The Jedi rushed in from every angle, as Palpatine ignited two blades in response. Yoda leaped forward, his lightsaber meeting Palpatine's, and the clashes of blades echoed throughout his room. Every council member attacked, getting their shot in, and Palpatine is on the back foot. He unleashed torrents of Sith lightning from his fingertips, cracking across the room and forcing the Jedi to block. Plo and Anakin engage from the flanks, whilst Obi-Wan and Mundi come in from behind. Windu rushed from the front, as Palpatine had nowhere to go. He lunged forward to take on Windu, but the Master pushed Palpatine back with the Force, directly into Mundi's lightsaber, and the Sith Lord was killed. Palpatine's death was reported to Bail Organa, who discussed the news with the Senate of Palpatine's treachery, playing both sides of the war, leading the Separatists from the shadows and creating galactic discontent to make the perfect substrate for him becoming Emperor. There was some initial fightback, but after all the evidence was presented, they came around, and the Jedi's actions were justified. The day later, Padme's water broke and she entered labor. Anakin stood beside Plo Koon, Ahsoka, and Obi-Wan, and they were all ready to intervene if Padme's life was in danger. But it wasn't, and she successfully gave birth to Luke and Leia, and the Skywalker family was born. For now, they all agreed to keep Anakin's children hidden from the rest of the council, but they knew in due time he would have to reveal the truth. The galaxy was at peace, the war was over, and the Jedi would help with assisting in rebuilding the post-war republic. Anakin had everything he had ever wanted, and little did he know how much he owed to Master Plo Koon and his simple curiosity. Ignite your imagination with fantasy sabers. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out What If Padme Was a Sith Lord and What If Anakin Became the Emperor. Don't forget to check out Fantasy Sabers and our Halloween specials to find the best sabers on the market. There are some cool and unique saber designs to choose from, as well as high quality replicas. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.